Gardevoir has been and continues to be a major pain in my ass due to its ability to use single prize attackers to take huge knockouts. And while we may be losing Gardy to rotation next spring, we may not be able to shake the spirit of Gardy through Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, congratulations, you are now a part of the friendliest gang in all of Pokemon, the Totodile gang, and today we're talking about Marnie's Grimmsnarl, which is being released in the US with the Destined Rivals set on May 30th. Now, Marnie's Grimmsnarl is not the exact same thing as Gardevoir, as the energy acceleration does not come from the discard pile, but from when you evolve your Grimmsnarl, you can search your deck for 5 darkness energies and attach them to your Marnie's Pokemon in any way you like. Now, Grimmsnarl EX may only hit for 180 and snipe your bench for 30, but that is not the main attacker in this deck. Marnie's Morpeko is. Marnie's Morpeko is a basic single prize Pokemon that can hit for 20 damage plus 40 more for each darkness energy attached, meaning that if we just Marnie's Grimmsnarl all of those energies onto it, we're instantly hitting for 220 damage. If we have another darkness energy that we can attach from hand, we're now hitting for 260. And if we use Pecharunt EX to move Morpeko up into the active to poison it, and we have a Binding Moki, we're now hitting for 310 damage, essentially, off of a basic single prize Pokemon that you can hypothetically set up in one single turn. Not your first turn, but one turn, as long as you can evolve a Marnie's Grimmsnarl. This is where the Gardy comparison really comes into play, where you're utilizing a single prize Pokemon to attack that's powered up by a 2-prizer, forcing your opponent into this really awkward scenario where they can either gust up and KO your 2-prizer and leave your attacker, or take out the attacker and only take one prize card. This deck also runs Munkidori to try to boost Morpeko's damage by 30, and if you do have to attack with Marnie's Grimmsnarl and you have some damage counters on the board, you can at least now hit for 210, which can knock out some of the lower HP 2-prizers. In order to make sure that we can attack with Morpeko multiple times, this deck runs 10 Darkness Energies, 2 Super Rods, and an Energy Recycler to replenish our resources after our Morpekos get knocked out. Oh yeah, and if that wasn't enough, Pokemon is dropping an absolutely insane stadium for Marnie, Spikemuth Gym, which allows you to just search out your deck for a Marnie's Pokemon once per turn. So, the Pokemon search in this deck is unreal. Now, speaking of Gardy, this deck is actually a really good counter for Gardy, as it is an all dark type deck and Psychic is typically weak to dark type. So if you are like me and you cannot stand playing against Gardevoir, Marnie's deck might be for you. Let's go over a deck list real quick that actually took down a City League over in Japan, and then we're going to take a look at some basic gameplay strategies. Here's the list that we're going to be taking a look at today. I think that this is probably the cleanest list that I've seen for Marnie's Grimmsnarl. As you can see, it's very supporter heavy. We got 4 Ionos, 4 Arvens, 2 Boss, 2 Professor's Research. We got 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffins and 3 Rare Candies and 3 Nest Balls. So lots of Pokemon search, lots of abilities to evolve our Grimmsnarl. We also have 2 of the Morgrems there. So that is the stage 1 right after Impidimp. So I think a lot of this deck is trying to not use the rare candies if you don't have to. Obviously this deck only plays 2 of the Marnie's Morpeko. So I think you do have to be very careful with those. You do have 2 Super Rods, so you have the ability to get them back. When Destined Rivals comes out, I'm definitely going to be considering tossing pretty much this exact list together to try it out. So with this deck, I feel like we want to go first, try to get a few Impidimp down on the bench, and then ideally, on our second turn, we can get a Marnie's Grimmsnarl in play, power up a Morpeko, and start hitting quick. However, if we are forced to go second, I do figure the move is going to be trying to Budew Itchy Pollen, just stall an item lock for at least a turn. The list we looked at does run 4 Arven to try to up the odds that we can grab ourselves a rare candy, but this is assuming that we don't get Budewed ourselves. So if everything goes well, we can ideally hit for 260 damage on our second turn with a 70 HP single prize Morpeko. Then, if they do decide to gust up and KO one of our 2 prizers on the bench, we just keep smacking with Morpeko. If they do end up KOing our Morpeko, then we're going to have to need a Morgrem or an Impidimp and a rare candy to get another Grimmsnarl down the next turn, so we can just keep stacking these Morpeko hits. We also run 4 copies of Iono and the Unfair Stamp as our A spec to capitalize on the fact that our opponent will likely be forced to take those Morpeko knockouts, and then we can just mess with their hand immediately after. Since this deck runs Pecharunt EX and Darkness Energies, Pech can actually be a huge late game attacker, hitting for 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken for only 2 Dark Energies. So if your opponent only has 1 prize card left, you can hit for 300 damage. As I mentioned earlier, Pecharunt is also extremely useful because it essentially gives us free retreat, although we do have to poison the Pokemon that we're bringing up into the active spot. This is where the Binding Mokies come in extremely clutch though, boosting our damage output by 40. While we are still a little ways out from Destined Rivals, it never hurts to take a little sneak peek of what the meta could look like here in a month or 2. Speaking of Destined Rivals, I think I'm also going to come out with a video on Ethan's Typhlosion, because that deck looks absolutely awesome. Sorry for the quick video, but unfortunately, I cannot get any PTCG Live gameplay for this deck because obviously we're still about a month out from release. But if you enjoyed this little preview style video, let me know down in the comments, and if you'd like to see a live gameplay using proxies for Marnie's Grimmsnarl, let me know. I think that would be a really fun video concept. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed it, you can hit that notification bell to be notified every time I post a video or go live. I do stream every Tuesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Central, so come check me out. Let me know down in the comments any decks you would like to see on the live streams. If you really want to support the channel, you can now become a channel member. Obviously, you do not have to do this, but you will get early access to videos, special emojis for chat, and at a certain level, you will get a custom Totodile Gang card. So that's pretty cool. Go check that out, see if that's something that would be interesting to you. Y'all absolutely do not have to do that, but I will love you forever if you become a channel member. So thank you guys so much. I love you, my sweet, beautiful gang of Totodiles. I'll see y'all next time. Peace!